In this lecture, I tell you about conversational implicature. The term implicature is taken from the philosopher H.P. Grice, who developed the theory of the cooperative principle. The philosopher H.P. Grice first suggested that in conversation we often convey information beyond that which we say, and that this added meaning is inferred and predictable. He referred to this as conversational implicature. This happens when the speaker says something that requires interpretation, and it is an indirect way of saying something. Definition of implicature is that an implicature is something the speaker suggests or implies with an utterance, even though it is not literally expressed. Implicature can aid in communicating more efficiently than by implicitly saying everything we want to communicate. This phenomenon is part of Pragmatic, a sub-discipline of linguistics. In implicature, we observe how intended meaning goes beyond what is actually said. Implicature is an indirect speech act. It means that the meaning expressed by the speaker is sometimes not directly encoded in words. Implicature could be called an additional conveyed meaning. In pragmatics, conversational implicature is an indirect or implicit speech act. What is meant by a speaker utterance that is not part of what is explicitly said. The term is also known simply as an implicature. What a speaker intends to communicate is characteristically far richer than what he directly expressed. Linguistic meaning radically determines the message conveyed and understood, etc. Conversational implicature refers to the inference a hearer makes about a speaker intended meaning that discourse and arises from their use of the literal meaning of what the speaker said. The conversational principle and its maxim. If I say there is nothing on the movies, for example, I do not mean nothing at all, but rather nothing that I am interested in seeing. The person I speaking to will assume this and implicit meaning. Implicature is not the same, however, as inference. As a Thomas explained, an implicature is generated intentionally by the speaker and may be understood by the hearer. An inference, on the other hand, is produced by a hearer on the basis of certain evidence and may not, in fact, be the same as what a speaker intends. Ali, would you come to my brother's marriage tonight? And Naveed answered that question, I am ill or I have my exam tomorrow. At surface level, it seems that Naveed has not answered correctly like yes or no, but the question here is how Ali able to identify the meaning that is not present in the literal meaning of a sentence. It seems to depend on assumption that Naveed is relevant and information. Describe relation and quantity. Is Ali, how is the weather today? Babur, you should bring your umbrella. That is explanation. Not directly said in words that it raining, etc. Types of conversational implicature. Particularized conversational implicature. Generalized conversational implicature. Second type. First type is particularized conversational implicature. The intent inference depends on particular features of the specific context of the utterance. It happens when a conversation takes place in a very specific context, means in a particular way. Generalized conversational implicature. This type of inference does not depend on particular features of the context, but is instead typically associated with the kind of proposition being expressed. In this conversation, there is no specific background knowledge of the context of a utterance in order to make the necessary inference. Conversational implicature. Grice identify another type of inference which is called conventional implicature, but he said very little about them and never developed a full-blown analysis. Conventional implicature are part of the conventional meaning of a word or construction. This means that they are not context depends on pragmatically explainable and must be linked on a word by word basis. However, unlike the kind of lexical element, it is associated with specific words and results in additional conveyed meaning. With these words are used like and after, but, yet, both, and even, etc. Thank you so much.